Do I give up on my girlfriend if she moves to another state but tells me I am her future?
Well, typically, if a woman's head over heels in love with you, wants to nest and babies and family, and is thinking of you in that way, women don't move away from men they're in love with because they don't want to lose the guy that they want to have babies with. They move away when they're in their masculine. They don't really feel that way about the guy. They're not ready to really let go of him yet. They're probably trying to see what they can meet in the new city where they're at. And I've seen guys in those kinds of situations move, like especially if they've worked at the same company and you got somebody that's say based in the US and maybe he's seeing a girl in the UK or in Germany or whatever. And then he puts in transfer, it takes a year, year and a half from the corporate world to make all that happen. He sells his house, all of his ships all of his stuff over there because she doesn't want to move over here because the reality she's just not that into it,
That
but
was
she
her
kind of
excuse.
goes along with it. And then he gets there, and it's like within 2 weeks of getting there, it's like she dumps him. And he just literally spent the last couple of years of his life with a girl who was just kind of going along with it. And it wasn't until he was in the country, because he didn't really want to live there. He's moving there to please her. And the reality is, if this moving, women move closer to you when they love you. They don't move across country. But in those situations, because I've dated internationally a lot over the years, is that it's you have to date and you have to get together physically in person. Usually every couple of months, you're either flying to see them or they're flying to see you. But if you're in a situation where you're maybe once or twice a year you're getting together, that's when you used to like live together or live in the same city and see each other all the time. That is not a good sign. So at the very least, you should be doing Skype or some kind of video or FaceTime dating where you eat and you kind of have a meal and a real date with them over the long distance. But if she's moved away, I'd be letting her do all the calling, all the texting, all the pursuing, and I wouldn't be putting much effort into it or maintaining it and see what happens. Slowly back off. Because in a lot of these situations, the guy is also over pursuing. He's calling, texting, 80, 90% of the time, and she's waiting 24 hours to respond. And oh, I was in a meeting, and she's got excuses, or oh, I was out with all my coworkers late, and my phone was dead. And, those kinds of things are often going on in those situations. But women vote with their feet. If they're with you, they voted for you. If they move across the country for a job, then that tells me that she's not feeling it. And
But
so, therefore, she's following her career path and hoping to find a guy she does feel it with
what
and
if
stringing
it's
you along, keeping you in backup position because she can always go back to you if she doesn't find somebody better.
what if it's for like a limited time, for maybe like a year or so, and she's learning something? It's just like a learning opportunity for her job that's in the United States, but they send her somewhere else. I mean, that's like people that are in the military too. Their husbands and wives or
Sure.
boyfriends
Yeah,
get
that's a
shipped
different
off.
case, but at the end of the day, she's going to be hopping on planes to come see him. He's going to be hopping on planes to go see her, and then that finite time has passed. She's coming back, but the instances that I've seen that I've done phone sessions with over the years is where people are dating long distance, and like whenever the guy's moving for the girl, it's like creates problems. And the reason what I tell guys, like, you should only be moving to her country if like you really want to live there because it's a nicer city and a nicer area, and there's a great opportunity. Because I've talked to lots of guys over the years that uproot their lives and they love where they live and they do it to please the girl because they don't want to lose her. And then they go to her country and they don't really like it. They don't know anybody. They uproot their lives, and literally within a week or two of getting there, they get dumped. And then they find out she's sleeping with somebody else in the office. I've had, it's like so many times I've heard these things. And it's like a man should not be moving unless he's excited to live in that city. And if they stay together and they live happily ever after, great. And if it doesn't work out, he'll meet somebody else in that city. You should only move if you want to live there.
I've moved twice for someone. Once to Hawaii, the other to Florida, and I'm not with either one of those people. And shortly when I moved there, like a year or so, it didn't work after the first
Were you doing
year.
long distance before you moved? Or was it somebody you were
So
with and then he
for
moved and you
Hawaii,
moved
I
with him?
was doing long distance, and then I moved. And then the other one, it wasn't really long distance. He just lived in a different state, but the state was like an hour and a half drive, so it wasn't really. It's like driving to Miami, so it's not really that bad. Um, but yeah, so we stopped dating after like a year. We lived together, but he was just he moved. We were from up north, and he's experiencing different things and different people.
Mm-hmm.
So he
So
wasn't faithful either?
no, he was not a very good person.
He was not loyal.
That was my experience moving to Florida.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
It didn't last 3 months.
yeah.
Made me move from Tennessee to here.
Maybe it's that
if you
swamp
believe
fever?
in us, you'll come down. And I'm like, all right. Came down, didn't make it. Didn't
Yeah,
make it.
You should never move
3
to
months.
Florida for somebody.
Yeah.
You should do it
We
for
moved
yourself.
together here, and he was just
Mm.
not good.
Florida is a place for the singles
it's
and
the
the hot
devil.
and ready to
Mhm.
mingles.
The bottom line is over time she's gonna, if you're doing everything right and it's going well, she's gonna want to spend more time with you. She's gonna be stuck to you like a sucker fish. If she's moving away for whatever reason, it's like she's moving away from you. She's okay with that. That tells me her emotions are not that engaged and she's not feeling like you're the one or you're it or she wants to have children with you. Unless, of course, it's like what Jay was talking about. It's just a temporary thing. Maybe it's 6 months or a year or a foreign exchange type of student thing or some kind of business thing where you're going to work in a country for a year or take some kind of class or certification or something, then yeah, and then you're going to be maintaining it and still wanting to see each other and making the effort. And when you're not seeing each other, you're going to be doing video Skype a couple times a week, having dates to keep the relationship going. She moves away and you barely talk to her. It's like that's how they break up without hurting your feelings. But then, oh, hey, sorry, I met somebody else. Just kind of happened. Sorry.
I think every scenario is very different and complicated too. My daughter has a friend that she grew up with, and this girl and her boyfriend have been dating since middle school. Like they're each other's first. They are 23 now, and they're still together. But he went to the Air Force, and they just placed him with Space Force in California. And she's going to vet school. Like it's been her lifelong dream to become a veterinarian. Everybody in her family is a doctor. It's really hard to get into vet school. Um, she tried for a year applying to vet schools, and she finally got into Gainesville, University of Florida. It was a really
Go
big deal
Gators.
to even get in any school, much less one in our state. And everyone in her family is really proud of her and everything. And he offered, hey, let's get married. And you live out here in California because the military pays us, $6,000 a month if we're a couple. And let's get married. And she's like, no, I want to pursue my dream of being a vet. So she's going to vet school. And that's that's 6 years. I mean, it's a while, right?
Yeah.
And it's not like she's just not choosing him, but this is literally everything she's ever wanted in her life. And she does want to marry him. But to have this career, you have got to if you get accepted into a vet school like that,
you have to go.
that's your one shot. You don't not take
Well,
it.
at the end of the day, if she cares, she'll travel to see him. He'll travel to see her.
Yeah.
And
I mean, people
they'll
can
be
do
loyal
it.
and faithful to each other. But
Yeah. People can do it.
if
I
he
think
gets jealous and needy and insecure, he's gonna drive her away, and he'll get I need space. Even though there's like they have a lot of space already.
yeah.
Because that's the stuff that I hear. Because that's when guys are coming to me when that stuff has gone sideways. Oh, hey, I met somebody else, and it just kind of happened. He was kind of a friend, or we worked together, or he was my next door neighbor, and
They
those things
did long
happen.
distance the whole time, the whole 4 years he was at the Air Force Academy.
So then he should be okay with her going to vet school for 4
Yeah,
years and
yeah.
then doing residency for another 2 to 4,
Mhm.
depending on what she decides that she wants to actually do her practice in.
It's interesting. It'll be interesting to see how it pans out over time,
They'll get back together if they really love each other.
For sure.
Yeah, they say if somebody's been in your life for 7 years, they'll always be in your life. I found that to be true.
I found that to not be true.